take a ride on board the flying magic monkey machine.
I am in a park in Los Angeles because you want to know the real story?
Tell me the real story, Stix.
I don't live in LA anymore. I'm in LA because Steel Panther is recording new music for a new record.
Wow, that's cool.
We can get into all of that. So we're recording at Studio 606, which is Dave Grohl's studio. And if we want to get into the weeds about the studio, we can later. I'm super into it. It's fantastic.
There are a lot of super big fans of Panther. I am one of them, okay? So I've got some genuine questions for you, and I've done my absolute best to dig deep and find things that no one would ever really ask you. What were your biggest inspirations growing up before you were even in Panther?
Well, my biggest inspiration, you mean the things that just turned me on? Like you know what I mean? Like, I mean, are you talking musically or just like life?
I mean, like drummers, music, things that got you excited about smacking the pots and pans.
Okay. The first time I heard Black Dog by Led Zeppelin, I was on my friend Dave's front porch. And it was like the neighborhood kid. I had just kind of moved into the neighborhood, so I was the new guy. It was not unusual for us to, on a summer night, to be hanging outside in the neighborhood, and we ended up on my friend Dave Ver's porch. And if he's ever listening to any podcast, hi Dave. He and I were best friends. We were blood brothers. We did the pinprick, the blood on the finger, and yeah. Blood. So we did that, and I remember the first time we were on his porch, somebody in the neighborhood had a cassette, Led Zeppelin cassette. Put on Black Dog. And then you hear the voice. Hey, Mama, is that the way you move? And I was like, okay, what the fuck first? And then when I heard the drums come in, I was like, well, that's not on one. Like I knew I didn't know what it was, but I knew what it wasn't, which then informed me as to what it was. So I knew it wasn't standard, which made me go, this is unusual, which made me go, this is fucking unbelievable. When I heard it and it went into my ears, I just remember being transported somewhere else, like in my like core, like, it hit me. And when you hear all the parts of that song, I'm like, oh, dude, I was hypnotized. And, so Black Dog was probably the first song that I ever heard that I went, what is happening that somebody's hitting things in that way?
Yeah.
So that led me down a Led Zeppelin path. But then, as you kind of branch out and you start really listening to different types of music. I mean, I always heard Stevie Wonder and, disco in the house because of my parents. And that was, and I appreciated that. But I never locked onto it. But when I started listening to like Maiden and Priest and, old Def Leppard, old Motley Crue, like the rawness and the realness of what they were writing about, even when they were writing about things like, the Green Manalishi, right? Where you're like, okay, this isn't like rooted in everyday life. You're not going to the store and struggling. Like, but we're talking about like dragons, like when, Dio with like swords and all the things. It took me to a world of like, there was nothing that was impossible in those worlds. You could write music about everything. You could listen to songs about everything, and it would take you there. When I saw that Rainbow in the Dark video and Ronnie James Dio swinging a sword bigger than he is, like to me on a rooftop in the middle of the day in those little boots, dude. When I describe it now, it sounds like you would probably want to call child services because somebody's on the roof with a sword, right?
It must have been fucking incredible to grow up in an area where all that music was coming from. Because, I mean, I fell in love with San Francisco Bay Area, Los Angeles scene, Testament, Megadeth, Sepultura, all those just it was like it hit me like a wave.
Yep.
But to live there and grow up with it must have just been incredible.
Well, it was, I mean, I'll be honest with you. So, like, I was probably right at that cusp of being slightly too young to go to Van Halen shows when they were, at the Starwood or whatever. So I missed that boat. But what I did get was I lived in an area that was in a nice little proximity to Hollywood, so I could dip in and dip out, and I wouldn't get sucked in too hard to where it would like. We should talk about this because I've seen this city in particular demolish souls. So, but I do want to talk about that. It's fascinating. But I remember, being in bands and like, I would know one guy who would know Juan Crucier from Rat, right? And Juan lived down in the South Bay, and you could get a hold of Juan, bass player for Rat, right? And you could go to his house and he would record your band. And
wow.
They were like at one point the biggest band in the world. And we're at this dude's house and we're seeing the tricks that he used to record that stuff. And being, yes. So it was very different in a sense, like I didn't grow up in Topeka, Kansas, where there's not a lot of active people making active records that go out into the world. This was a definite mecca for that. And you're 1 degree away from 1 or 2 degrees essentially away from almost anybody. And, it was a fucking amazing time and an amazing place to grow up. And I'm so grateful for it. Nobody, not a lot of people are born and raised here in LA, even though I did just recently move away. I am very proud to be from here, and it was fucking amazing, dude. Like it was crazy.
You grew up through the massive explosion of rock and metal, and the whole thing was just like a tidal wave of sound. And now you are such a part of the feeling of nostalgia around that vibe. How does it feel? I mean, you have 500,000 monthly listeners. So I have done everything imaginable to your music, and I know a lot of people, listening and probably feel the same way. I have mourned a friend who passed away. You were his favorite band of all time. I have done all the wrong things and all the right things. Panther have become part of the very fabric of rock and metal in America, and you hold that down. How does it feel?
Dude, I'm very rarely speechless, Rob. Wow. It feels it doesn't really. Okay, I'm gonna give you the real shit. It doesn't really feel like anything in terms of I have played rock drums my entire life. I have been in this band, Steel Panther, for I don't even know how many years, like a lot of years, right? And we have always sort of paved our own way. We did have a deal on Universal at one point, but we don't really fit in the categories. We don't fit in the lanes or the boxes that record companies like to stay in, because they're companies, right? They're beholden to shareholders, and they're big and they make decisions and they're slow. But our time at Universal was amazing. Monty and Avery Lippman were great to us, so it was great. We asked to leave, but to answer your question, it doesn't feel like anything's different because we still are marching to the beat of me. But
that has to be the name of the podcast.
Marching to the beat of me.
Zadinia, marching to the beat of me. I fucking love that.
That's amazing.
That, by the way, that's the name of your biography when you release a biography.
Dude, that's great. That's a great name. Dude, you know what? That just surpassed my other title. You want to hear what it was?
Yeah.
As a drummer, it was going to be called Stix Zadinia. First one in, last one out. Because you are. You know, as the drummer, you got to get to the gig first to set all your bullshit up. You got to break it all down while your stupid singers out there trying to get laid.
I thought it was a euphemism, but
Oh no, it's very literal.
Listen,
But anyway, when we go to festivals, when we go around the world, I am reminded, and in those moments, that we are part of this thing called rock, and we are a known quantity, and it is very surreal to you make a band, right? You create a band, you know, more than anybody. You do this thing that you love to do, and hopefully it resonates with people and they dig it. And then hopefully even on top of that, you get to do podcasts where somebody asks you how you feel about being part of the fabric of the very genre of music that you used to love. And it is a fucking honor. It's humbling, but I also feel like I've been a part of this thing that's fucking earned it and deserves to be able to do it because we put the work in. We didn't just show up and go, "Hey, we're here. We got a rich daddy. Let's go." You know what I mean? So I'm very proud of it.
This is amazing, man. There are so many things I want to tell you, but I'm not sure if I can.
Tell me.
Wait, I don't know if I can. Let me just go to my questions because my brain is going, ask him, tell him this, and I'm like,
dude, you gotta do it.
No, so
no, just a hard no.
You're in an amazing band, but listen, if suddenly the world exploded, Panther disappeared, and you had the opportunity to form a super band, who are the other members, and what's the band called?
So the other members are okay. So there's no more Satchel, Michael, Spider, right?
No, you can pick anyone currently living.
Well, I'm gonna pick other people because it's no fun to say my guys because I'm in that band and I'm so grateful to be in the band I'm in.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go to Fantasyland right now, Rob. I would have. So it's gonna be a big band. Currently living. Okay. On rhythm and lead guitar, I'm going to have my buddy Zach Throne. Zach plays in Jerry Cantrell's band. He played in Corey Taylor's solo band. Zach is a phenomenal guitar player. He sings like you wouldn't believe. His vibe, and we've been friends since the 90s. So Zach would be in my band. I would have Jerry Cantrell on rhythm guitar.
Really? And this is exciting for me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jerry's lead stuff is Alice in Chains is probably in my top 2 bands of all time.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree with you.
But the reason why I would have Jerry on rhythm is because what Zach does, you know, so I mean, we're gonna have harmony solos, so I'm not taking it all away from Jerry. Jerry's just so he's like a pillar in my musical world. So I want him to be my Malcolm Young.
Yeah. I get that. That's beautiful.
Okay, so Jerry is my Malcolm. Zach is my Angus. As far as the vocals, I would have Ian Thornley.
Oh,
on vocals.
Big Wreck.
Big Wreck. I think more people should know about that band. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. They're in my top 4 of all time. And he is in my probably top 3 of all time most talented all-around dudes. I would probably put on drums Scott Phillips from Alter Bridge / Creed. One, because he's a good friend of mine. 2, because he plays the drums, I think, very similar to how I play drums. And as a drummer, I'm playing bass in this band, by the way.
I was working that out.
Yeah. Scott's going to be on the drums. He's a homie, and he plays so tasty. He's like not a Berkeley trained guy, and he's not going to come out and he's not going to out Danny Carey you. And that's not what he does. But what he does is so tasty and so good. I think Flip, you're the drummer in this new band. I'm playing bass in it, and I'm singing background vocals. I don't care what you guys say. Doesn't matter, dude.
And what would you call the band?
I might call the band Hero to Zero. I like that name. I also like Stix Zadinia's Party Council.
That's really good.
I think that's a fun name. But as far as vocalists, lead singers in this band, I'm gonna take it to fucking kind of almost obscure town, Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate.
I don't know that singer.
Excuse me. For a second, Rob. For a second, it's funny because it almost sounded like you said. It almost sounded like you said you don't know who Jizzy Pearl is.
I'm sorry, I don't know everybody.
Do you know who Love Hate is?
I know who. I don't know the name of the members. I'm sorry.
Love.
Man.
Okay, then that's okay. Love Hate, for your listeners. Blackout in the Red Room is that's their first record that they ever did. It is so raw. They came out at a time. I'm all excited now. They came out at the same time Guns N' Roses came out. And Guns N' Roses was on Geffen, right? I think Love Hate might have been on Geffen, but they came out at the same time. Love and Guns N' Roses took off like a fucking rocket. And I think what happened was Love Hate got caught in the wake, like they got lost in the hype of Guns N' Roses. And I'm gonna say something controversial.
Yeah.
Love Hate was a better band.
Really? Because I love Guns N' Roses.
I'm not taking anything away from Guns N' Roses, and clearly their legend speaks for itself, right? So anything I say, anyone who's a huge Guns N' Roses fan, I loved Guns N' Roses, and I still do. They're a killer band. In my opinion, for my taste, for my preference, pound for pound, song-wise, attitude-wise, Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room, I will take over Welcome to the Jungle. Or Appetite for Destruction. I will take that record over it. And all your listeners, all your viewers, dude, you can't fucking say that. Think about what they did. Take your keyboard cowboy hat off, motherfucker. Listen to the record, call me, and then we can talk. Because, dude, the shit you're going to hear on the Love Hate record, you're going to go, oh my God, it's balls. It's just balls. Even their second record, I think it's called Wasted in America. Go listen to the first two Love Hate records, then we can talk. Don't come at me, any listeners or viewers, don't come at me without listening to the full two records. Once you do that, we can have a chat.
Man, this is amazing. What I need to start doing is getting playlists made from people that I chat to in these podcasts.
Dude,
by the way,
I'll do one for you after.
Amazing. I came up with some band names for you just in case you couldn't create one. You weren't a wordsmith, but clearly I'm completely wrong. I had a name for kind of a pirate-themed rock band, Rocktopus.
Ooh, that's good.
I had one. It's a track name from my album, but I like Guided by Ghosts.
See, that's actually too cool for me. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I had a bit of a social commentary one, Staring at Screens, which is what I do most of my life. And then I had one that was a little bit dirty themed, Bending Lisa. It's like Alice in Chains, but it's Bending Lisa, or Battle Snake. That was my last one.
I would choose Battlesnake for my band. Battlesnake is so good. So good, dude. I love that one. They're all really good.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I grew up in 1975. I'm aging.
Wow.
I know you're a child of the 80s.
Yes.
We've lived through a few different eras and decades. Which was your favorite decade and why?
Okay. We're gonna get real. For me, so the music I play is very 80s-esque, right? And I love the 80s. They were a magical time because that's when they allowed you to play with lawn darts. That's when do you know what a lawn dart is?
No.
Please look up lawn darts. They were about 1.5 foot long plastic dart with a metal tip. And you would go out into your front lawn, backyard, whatever. You would put down a thing in the ground, like a goalpost or something, some sort of thing to throw your lawn dart up in the air and have it land in the ground. Dude, there is no way they would let people buy these lawn darts. So I guess my point is, you could hurt yourself in the 80s, and it was cool. Like, you learned, hey, don't stick your finger in the light socket. Don't be an asshole, right? But the 90s for me that was when I discovered good tequila. That's when I discovered better ways to get laid, more efficient ways to get pussy. And I think that was very important for me because I wanted it, Rob. So in the 90s, my blade, my life and game blade got sharpened in the 90s, only to be dulled by the cocaine and the liquor, which was amazing too. So, when people talk about, oh, I went through a period of drugs and drinking, most of the time they say it with sort of almost a little regret. And I say it with pure pride and pure joy.
Talking of the extremes of rock and roll touring,
Mm-hmm.
that I've only glanced the outside, shine of. What's the most crazy thing you've ever asked for as a band that's been fulfilled?
That's a good question. I don't know. We've never done the no brown M&Ms. We've never really pushed it. I don't know why we haven't pushed it. We pushed it a lot of other things, but when as far as requests on a rider or anything like that, we're not very picky. We're very creatures of habit. We want our fucking cookies. We want our chips. We want our energy drinks. We want our tequila. I have had in the past have had off the record conversations with a lot of promoters, and I've asked for a lot of things that were definitely not in print. And they have acquired these things. They are they're very resourceful. Promoters can be very resourceful, and pretty much they'll do a lot of stuff to keep the artist happy. But my thing and our philosophy in Steel Panther is we're only as good as our shows, right? So like if we start blowing it, people, especially being under the scrutiny that we are, as opposed to like say a Godsmack. So Godsmack, for instance, they're a band. They go on stage in their kind of everyday wear. They jam their songs. People dig it, and everybody goes about their business. What we do is different in the sense that we get specifically we gear up to go do the shows, and we wear clothing that I'm not wearing my stage shit right now because I'm not on stage, but I think there's a level of scrutiny that comes with Steel Panther because some people might not take us seriously. So we always want to be as fucking laser sharp as we can on stage. So those things that I'm asking for from the promoter will usually be acquired and given to me after the show to make sure that I deliver the goods.
I think it's probably quite an amusing thing to witness somebody trying to underestimate the prowess of Panther and then going to see you live. And some of the titles are quite funny, some of the song lyrics are amusing. you sit down, listen, or stand up, listen to the tracks, and it's just musically unbelievable.
I appreciate that a lot. It's important to us. We take not being serious very serious, and we take our music really fucking seriously, because it's important to us as players and as fans of music. We want to put what we think is great shit out there, and just a little side note to that. We're in the studio right now, and I had mentioned, and I will tell you, and I say this with 1000% sincerity, this is the best sounding stuff I think we've ever recorded. What I'm hearing out of the speakers, Rob, is freaking my dick out. I swear to God, like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the room, if it's the time of year. I don't know what the fuck it is. But what is coming out when people hear this stuff, it's a lot of bands go, yeah, it's our best stuff ever. No, that's not true. And I've known that about some of the stuff, I've recorded. It's not always your best stuff. It's always your newest stuff. But I will say that this batch of 4, and I know what's coming 4 more later, when people hear this stuff, I think they're good. If you were a doubter of Steel Panther, like, to your point, you cannot say they suck. You cannot do it. You can say you don't like it. And I get that, because I don't like everything. We may not be your cup of tea, and that's fucking totally fair. But you cannot say we are not good.
So, can I ask about gear in the studio? Predominantly viewers of this are going to be musicians, guitar players, bassists, a few drummers. I'm afraid I need to build up the drummer element. I've actually interviewed another couple of drummers too, because I'm a big fan of drummers. Can you talk about, for a start, is anyone using any of this?
That is in our studio, dude. That's the fucking Pegasus. That's the little thing that you and I and Michael Starr did together.
Yes.
It's one of the axes that is in the studio, and it's such a look. That is the world's first 2-man signature guitar.
It's the first time I've ever known a drummer to have a signator guitar
and a singer.
So excited for you, man.
Dude, I'm excited. Your viewers, they know you through your content, and they know you through your music, right? But I don't know if they know the size of the balls that are in your pants right now, because what you did was you approach. So for anybody that wants to know the story, I got a hold of a Chapman baritone guitar because I was talking to my friend Squiggy. I said, dude, I really want a baritone. And so he goes, my guy Rob Chapman makes a killer baritone guitar. I go, dude, send it to me. He sends it to me. I bought it from him. I didn't get it free. So I bought it from him, and I was freaked out at how cool it was. So on LinkedIn, and I think you're maybe the first or second person, you clearly know I don't geotag. So LinkedIn is like, I must have been so out of my mind when I signed up for that, because I don't do anything on it, right? So I go online, and I send you a message. Hey, my name's Stix from Steel Panther. You may or may not know the band. I love your guitars. And the response I got from you was nothing short of just so heartwarming and amazing. You're like, dude, I can't believe it's you. I'm a fan of your band. And then so we started talking, and then you came up with the idea of doing a Stix Zadinia signature guitar, which I'm a drummer. So the first thought I'm thinking is, that's so weird, but it's so perfect. It's so cool. And then I spoke to our singer, Michael Starr, and you thought, what a great idea to have a 2-man signature model. Neither of them are guitar players, but they both play guitar.
That's it. The thing is, I'm sure a lot of real Panther fans will know that you and Michael both can really play. I was honestly quite surprised. Obviously, you have a sense of rhythm. It's super solid. You've got it there, and you know all the chords, and you're smacking out the rhythm. And I've been privy to some beautiful musical experiences through your string. And when Michael was playing lead, I was like, wow, I had no idea. This is absolutely mad. And it's interesting because he plays vocal melodies and things, and it's a whole other dimension to Panther
Yeah.
that I hope you guys explore more.
I appreciate that. You know what? At some point, I will probably put something out on my own, just because I have so many songs, and I just want to put them out in the world. I don't have to. Fortunately, with Panther, I've made a lot of memories, and I get to do this thing where on this level that like I am so grateful for, right? And people seem to enjoy it. They come to the shows, and if they don't know it and they don't enjoy it, then at least they got a little dose of what we think is cool. But there's so much music in my head. There's so much music in Michael's head, and clearly Satchel is prolific. And it's funny because when you have a guy like Satchel in your band, right, who's so good at guitar, I mean, world class, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't, really dove into his playing, I recommend as a guitar player you check out his work, because he's a freak, and he's like my musical comrade. Like he and I, when we first met, we both like it was kind of like, oh wait, you like that? Yeah, I like that too. Like it's the same. It would come from that same, cut from the same cloth as far as music preferences and what turns us on and all that stuff. But when you have a guy like Satchel in your band, and you're Michael Starr, and you could, like, if you put Michael Starr up against 100 guitar players, solo wise, I would say he'd be in the 70th percentile.
Yeah, he's got what he has is his own character that comes through in the playing. And the thing about, I was going to say his other name, but the thing about Satchel is that when you listen to Panther, the music hits you. It's funny. There's comedy. There's adventure. There are characters, themes, holes. But when you hear the guitar playing as a guitarist, you're just like, what the fuck? It's so good, and it's so authentically 80s. It's like a time capsule. And the thing that Satchel is able to do is deliver that absolutely authentically with perfect technique and all of the feel. And I mean, I've never met Satchel. I'd love to.
You haven't?
No.
Dude,
I've met
you
you
will.
and Michael. I'd love to. I'd love to.
You will.
What I want to know is how he is able to deliver all of the technique, unforgettable riffs, but do it in a way that somehow has that aural signature that you hear and you go, that's for us. That's Satchel.
Right. Well, I honestly, dude, I think it comes from fucking hours and hours and hours of woodshedding as a youth.
Yeah.
Because, he told me once he picked up the guitar at 12, he's told me, and he's told people the story. Once he picked up the guitar, he was locked in his room for 10, 12 hours a day. He didn't do anything. He didn't go hang. He didn't do it. He played guitar, and he started teaching at Musicians Institute when he was 17 as an instructor, dude. So he's very focused. He's very driven and compelled to excel at whatever he, tries to do, except for golf. And if he sees it, sorry, bro. Sorry, I kicked it today. I'm playing. But when it comes to guitar, he's always got a guitar. He's always, practicing and noodling, especially on tour. Like we keep guitars in the dressing room just to pick up at any moment. But it's funny because he's so good, and he has so encompassed the feel of the 80s and all the best parts of all the best guitar players, the Warren DeMartinis, the George Lynches, the Carlos Cavazos, the Randy Roses, the Eddie Van Halens, all of those guys. I think very fortunately he is able to extract like the best parts of those players, put it in the Satchel blender, and really, like, you don't go, oh dude, he plays exactly like X or Y or Z. He plays like Satchel, and to your point, when you hear it, if you have half a clue about guitar and rock and heavy metal music, you will know it's Satchel's playing by the vibrato, by the phrasing, Like I can hear a solo, and if you didn't tell me who it was, I more than likely would be able to tell you if it was him playing without knowing, just because he's got a style. He's got his own flavor. And man, yesterday we were in the studio and he was doing some overdubs, and just watching him work is pretty weird because he knows so this very rare combination of a rock player who knows all the theory. He knows where things are on the fretboard and how to achieve what he's hearing in his head, and not only that. And I know I'm going on about him, but the guy's like, he's a freak. Not only can he just, if he's working a part out, it'll always be in key because he always knows where he is, which is honestly surprising. If you would be surprised at how many guitar players don't know how to do that.
Right.
Like when you're working stuff out, there's always, more than likely there's always gonna be a note where you're like, oh yeah, no, that's not in the scale or whatever. But he's always in key, even working random parts out. And then once he figures something out, he can reposition it on the fretboard, anywhere on the fretboard that physically allows it to happen. He can do it like that. It's like he reads the fretboard like he's reading a child's book. You know what I mean? You go C spot run. Like you and I would be able to C spot run spots far. Or spot runs. Whatever the words are, we could just say them fluently, except for me.
Yeah.
He does that with the guitar, and his choices are they're just incredibly musical. Even the holds are musical, and the vibrato is musical, and it's not just to do it. There's intention, there's feeling, there's emotion behind it, and to watch him do that and to be a part of a band with a guy like that is pretty. I think it helps make everybody better musicians, and the same goes for Michael Starr with the vocals.
Oh man. Well,
the guy,
all of you are unbelievable. It's
thank you.
I keep pinching myself that I live, in this tiny slice of time where Steel Panther exists. It's incredible. I've got to ask, as a certified definite gearhead. I mean, not a lot of people know that, as well as being an incredible womanizing, drumming, drug legend, you also are incredible at recording, engineering, production. You know your way around a studio.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about the gear that's being used at the moment? Like, is there an amp? Are you going direct?
Well, in my house or at the studio? We could talk about both.
Okay.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, because we've alluded to it already. I write and I record at home. I have a studio at home. But I'll talk about the Steel Panther stuff when we're at Studio 606, like I said, and that board that's the infamous Sound City Neve board, complete with Paul McCartney's signature on it. And
oh my god!
So being in that room, I guess Dave Grohl built that studio 20 years ago. It's 20 years old now. He built it for rock. Like honestly, dude, it's probably the best rock room in LA, and I would say, and I've been to Abbey Road and in the BBC studios, and I've been to those those kinds of places, and I would say pound for pound, if you're going to do rock and roll drums and guitars and basses, 606 you can make an argument for it being the best room in the world.
And what drum kit are you using in that room?
Well, I'm a DW guy. So I use my DW. My thing is maple over mahogany. That's the combination that I love. I have a knurled steel snare drum, 6.5 by 14. I use Sabian cymbals, which, I used to use other brands. For a long time, I was endorsed by a couple other brands. And when I ended up at Sabian, I fell in love with the sound of the cymbals. And look, there's a lot of guys that are more gear nerd than I am. I love gear, but I can just tell you that the Sabian cymbals, they sound right. They're not overpowered. They just sound sweet. I use Remo heads, Porter and Davies Throne. I use London Drumstick Company drumsticks. Shout out to Will at London Drumstick Company. And and I will say this: I've been with the big ones for a long time. I was with Vic Firth. I was with Vader. Um, I was with Zildjian for Stix as well at some point. But I moved over to London Drumstick Company. A couple of friends of mine, Ryan from Airborne, uses them. And they're innovative and they're cool. This guy Will, who owns the company, I love the dude. You would love the dude. And so that's the stuff I'm using drum wise. And we go through the Neve board, and it does something to the sounds, and that the live room they have there, it's just, I don't know, man. The mic selection they have there is second to none. And they let you use everything that's at the studio. Like, nothing's off limits. If Dave Grohl's guitar is there and it's out, you can use it. If somebody, if there's a Taylor Hawkins drum set that happens to be there, you're allowed to use it. And it's really cool that they have so much stuff. But as far as home, I record to Logic on my Mac, but I'm starting to learn Luna from Universal Audio. Because it sounds like, it's very strange, because what I'm finding is Luna is modeled with Universal Audio. They just did something with that program that makes it sound like an album. Like, you can tape saturate every single channel with different 2-inches, and it just gives you that warmth, that punch that you don't normally get in a DAW. So I use that. I use a Universal Audio 4710 mic pre. I use the Universal Audio Apollo X4. That's got 4 mic pre's, but then I light pipe it fucking the 4710 in, so I've got 4 more really good pre's and compressor. And then I use a Warm Audio 1176 copy, because I don't want to go out and spend all the money. I am in the market for a 1073 clone, or unless you know somebody that has a real 1073 that they're going to throw out, you let them know and get it to my house.
This is the content everyone needed from Stix Zadinia. Everyone needed to know the home studio setup. I'm
telling you, I'm not trying to make people laugh right now. I'm trying to fucking get people to get into music. So I use a Neumann TL103 microphone. I also use the Universal Audio. I think it's the SC one. It looks like the SM7B. I can't remember the model, but that's a great mic as well when you want that kind of SM7B sound. And then I use my Chapmans. I use my Pegasus. I use sometimes I'll use my LTD C1000. I use for bass. I will use an old Music Man that I'm really digging the Music Man, and I have an American-made Fender P, because if you need a bass guitar, if you only have one bass guitar in your life,
it needs to be a P.
Make it an American P.
Yeah,
it's worth it. It's so funny, because you can plug a P in, right? Direct. You don't even need a compressor. You don't need you can go right into your interface. Just a little gain it up. And it sounds like a bass should sound, right? So you'll get guys with these crazy basses with signal chains that are like 17 things deep, compressors, EQs, trees, all the bullshit, only to get back to the sound that a P makes when it's plugged straight in. It's fucking crazy. So,
can I ask you?
Yeah.
Sorry to stop you on the P-bass loving, because I was really enjoying that. And I had a similar conversation with another amazing guitar player recently. He said there's only one bass guitar and it's the P-bass.
Yeah.
What Satchel is he using amps, or is he running direct?
Live, he uses...
No, in the studio.
Oh, in the studio, it's both. In the studio, we do a hybrid. We're using EVH amps. I think I know that there is a brand new 5150 that is basically what they did is they came out with a new 5150 that emulates the PV 5150.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And dude, I think that's part of what's freaking me out is the tones that we're getting.
Yeah.
They're nasty. So I heard your new single, "If You Fail," right?
Yes,
And I heard it and I listened to it and I was like, "What the fuck? How's he getting that guitar tone?" And I texted you. So for your listeners and viewers, I actually did this. I'm not bullshitting. I'm like, "What is that guitar tone?" And you told me it was a BadCat, right?
yeah, it was a BadCat, Hot Cat with a semi-hollow P90 loaded Chapman ML3 Pro Modern, Pro Traditional, and not a lot on the floor, just a little tiny bit of push in the preamp, all mic'd up and very very fucking loud.
It sounds loud. It sounds fucking angry, but controlled anger.
Yeah,
it's kind of. I guess the best analogy I could give you is it's like a UFC fighter who knows how to fucking demolish it, but is calm about it until they don't need to be.
That was good. It's the audio feeling of righteous indignation. That's what I wanted to get across. The feeling of knowing that, righteous indignation. That's what it is. And that comes from the air that you're allowing, miking up the back of the cab, the guitar breathing, semi-hollow thing, all the volume. Everyone's in the room live. You're getting cymbals on the guitar mic.
The wash.
The wash is important, man. It's the DNA of the room.
It's what threads it together. So like, if I'm tracking at home and I'm the only guy there, right? And I write a song and I get it to where now I'm going to do all of the performances for real. Because I'm doing them separately, they don't have that bleed. I have to manufacture that in the mix, right? I have to try to emulate that in the mix. And it's very difficult to do. And that's why we're using live amps along with modeling, because I still, as good as they are, he uses amplifier brand modelers, but as good, or I'm sorry, Atomic amps.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
So shout out to Tom at Atomic, super nice guy. I still don't think that there's a substitute for the air that a speaker moves. I mean, it's very close, and you're gonna have people go, "Dude, I bet you if you had a shootout and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference." You're probably right. Cool story. Let's move on. But I think it comes through in the mixes, and I can't put a finger on why or how. It sounds different when it's a physical speaker moving actual air.
Yeah, so Satchel's blending Atomic stuff with EVH stuff.
Yep.
Like desaturated crunches and that's interesting.
Yep, and what's really crazy is we and I don't know when this is going to air, but we got asked to do something special for Air Supply, the band, and we started working that out on our tail end of our session yesterday, and Satchel ended up with a 12-string electric going through, I think it was a Mesa head, with this crazy chorus pedal for the intro.
Wow.
And dude, when our producer Jay Rustin, he hit the button on the chorus pedal and it started to come through the speakers, everybody, no matter what you were doing, whether you were scrolling or whatever, everybody looked up and went, "What is that? What's happening?" And that's when in the studio, that's when you're on to something special. And speaking of that, you're making me go crazy now. My brain is going haywire. One of the things I absolutely love to do is just get weird in the studio. Like, you plug a phaser in, you plug some sort of delay combo, right, with a flange or whatever, and start and pushing playback or having your guitar player play and just tweaking knobs and making the weirdest things happen with these things. And the idea that you might be able to replicate it is an impossibility. It's just you're trying to capture lightning in a bottle, and I love that about being in the studio and working on that Air Supply thing. We went, okay, well, let's figure out how we want to do it. And that community, when you're working something out with a group of people, for me, musically, that's when it's the most exciting. When you go, oh yeah, and then this, oh yeah, and you keep building, and it's like, and you've created something with other people. It's always awesome to create by yourself because it feels good and you can go at your pace. But when you're on a wavelength with other musicians, man, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like
true.
it.
It's the connection of the spirit and the sound in the room. You know.
Yep.
Are you cutting vocals as well, or is this just tracks and then vocals happen later?
Well, we have Michael has definitely cut some vocals, but I think people would be surprised to or maybe not. Michael starts sings with very good technique, but when you are recording over and over and over the same lines to try to capture it, the pitch, to try to capture the vibe, the delivery, the attitude, all of those intangibles, it wears on the throat. It just does.
Of course, yeah.
Especially rock and roll, because you're pushing. There's attitude. So as good as your technique can be, you're not going to be Pavarotti or Michael Bublé, who, and I'm not. I mean, look, what they do is unreal, but their technique will probably allow them to sing for longer, right? Because when you're rock and rolling and you want attitude, you're gonna sacrifice a little bit of technique. So he can really only sing, a few hours a day, and then we record and track around that. So if he's like feeling it, he gets the mic and we go. If he's like, I need a break, we go do something else. So scheduling that stuff, we'll probably get the majority of the vocals after we leave 606, and that'll be at our producer Jay's house.
And does he have a go-to vocal mic?
You know what? I think right now we're using a U67 at 606, right? I think it's the $25,000 or $50,000, whatever the fuck it is. It's the one at Jay's house. Now Jay has a plethora of mics.
Yeah.
But I do know, and I'm going to be giving away a secret weapon. I don't think they make this microphone anymore. And when they did, it was a $200 microphone. And we used it on the first 3 or 4 Steel Panther records. It's a studio project. I swear to God, dude, this is going to freak you out. It's a Studio Projects. I don't know if you know the brand. Studio Projects is the name brand, and it's the C1. You could probably only find it on Reverb or wherever you buy your used stuff. Dude, I am not even kidding you. That's what you're listening to, a $200 vocal mic. Whatever, I don't know what happened, but when they built it, they did some sort of voodoo, and it sounds like a Neumann. It sounds like it's unfucking canny. Studio Project C1, if you guys listening or watching, or even you, Rob, if you come across one, snatch it up.
Yeah, they're about to blow up on Reverb.
Dude, I have one, and I put it up against the Neumann, the TL103. It's a little different, but it's as good. It's weird, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Hidden treasure.
Man, this is such a beautiful experience to learn all this interesting stuff from you. So when is the album due for release? Have you got a release date, or is it all hush? Or
No. We don't have a release date, and I'm not intentionally keeping secrets from you. What's really fascinating, and I talked to our guys yesterday, and so long story short, we manage our band. We manage our band. We are the merch company. We are the record company. We are it all. We're maybe one of the biggest DIY bands, except for Metallica. I mean, Metallica is the DIY, but we don't have a label, and we have a booking agent, but that's kind of, we do it ourselves. So we're not on any sort of label timetable. We are, and so what we decided was, look, we have the time now. Let's go track 4 songs. We'll probably go back and do another 4, like I said. And whether we do another 4 or not and do a full-length release, I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going to drip singles out like people are doing now. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do an EP. So, like, the future for us of how to get this out and when to get it out, we're a little uncertain. But if I had to guess, I would say it will be top of 26. Maybe a single will come out before then for Christmas. But we're gonna go back in and track 4 to 8 more songs over the next few months. And it's just this process is it's different because usually we go in, we go, okay, here's the 14 songs, let's go. Here's the studio time, boom, and we go do it. This is a little bit different, and it's a little more freeing because we can really put our energy into a smaller amount of songs, so you can spend more energy per song.
Yeah. No, I can feel I'm in a similar situation now with this absolutely enormous project that I'm in the middle of recording.
Yeah, tell me about that. What are you gonna do? So
there's only so much I can talk about. We can have a little chat offline, but it's the biggest thing I'll ever do. It's a lot of recording, all live, with some stunning collaborations from some incredible people. One of them is Stix Zadinia, who's going to feature on a track.
How is it not going to succeed then?
So it's very exciting, but we get together. Everything is set up. We write and we record live. Bang, right there. Capture the moment.
I love that, dude.
We're very, very fortunate and very blessed that for whatever reason, we can just write and do a track every day. And it's been that way for 20 days so far.
So wait, are you flying me out to your house?
Whatever you want, man. I'll fly you out on mushrooms so that you think you're there, but really you're just where you are. And then we'll connect through the ether,
I'm not mad. I'm into it. Let's go.
Listen, man, this is beautiful. I love you so much, and
I love you too, dude.
Thank you for spending the time to chat to me over here while you're over there in a park.
I'm so creepy right now, bro. I'm gonna get the cops calling me. Sorry, lady.
It's amazing. Can you give us a track name or any secret names of the name of the album, anything at all, or will you get shot?
One of the songs is called and another song is called because it's true, Rob. You can't. And it's funny because you hear these songs, you're like, oh man, how can you I can't imagine a song that would like move me musically or rock me. Dude, when you hear it, you're gonna fucking lose your mind. You're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna be like, God, how did they do it again?
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Stix Zadinia, still Panther, beautiful human being, incredible musician, wonderful person. I'm going to do the podcast goodbye, and then we'll have a quick chat afterwards. Love you, man.
I love it. Love you, bro. Thank you.